What is up, YouTube? Ooh. Got my stickers put on. Had a little issue with the ZORG stickers. Something about the adhesive on those is mad weak. But I had a backup plan for that, so it's all good. Just take a little bit of packaging tape and take the glossy side of this thing, the backing of the sticker, and just basically trace it out. And you got fresh adhesive. So an update on this weird noise in my car. I think I figured out that it's one of two things. I don't think it has anything to do with the transmission or the motor. I think what it comes down to is it's on the right side of the car. It sounds like it's on the passenger side for sure. I think it's either my axle's going bad or I got a wheel bearing going bad, because if it was something transmission related, it would either be those gears or something like in the gearbox, right? I have no trouble getting into gear. The gears are strong. So that eliminates the transmission. And it's nothing to do with the motor, because I feel like if it was like valve lash or rod knock or anything like that, it would be a constant noise, you know what I mean? So motor and transmission are pretty much eliminated. I don't think it's those things. I think this car is so dumped that I hit a lot of potholes, and there's a lot of dips in the road and vibrations and stuff like that. A lowered car, you're gonna get your wheel bearings in a fucking mess, you know what I mean? Or axles too, you know what I mean? Because the wheel bearings and the axles in this car are fairly old, you know? I mean, getting approaching 180,000 miles, and I haven't changed any axles or wheel bearings, and you know, that's kind of what I think it is. I think I would honestly say it's probably the axles, and it'd probably be a good idea to upgrade the axles anyway to get, you know. I saw some Yanaka ones that they have on sale, under $200 for a pair of axles, and they're rated at 250 brake horsepower. So I mean, that would be a smart move to get. I'm sure things would go a lot smoother. Pardon my pause. I'm behind a wood chipper truck, and that's always fucking fun. But yeah, I think honestly, I'm thinking my guess would be axle, because I mean, in theory, the wheel bearing or the axle, you might hear it if it was broken all the time, but I don't think it's broken. I think there's something like weird with it, and I'm just not sure, you know. It's hard. Like, I had a tech ride with me yesterday, and dude knows the shit, and he's like, oh no, it's definitely not the transmission or the motor, it's nothing to do with your clutch. He was like, step on it, punch it. He's like, yeah, he's like, your clutch is fine. If you step on it and you instantly feel yourself moving forward, it's nothing to do with your clutch. And it's definitely nothing to do with your gears, because, like, if there was something to do with the gears, then one, you wouldn't be able to get in gear, and two, the gear wouldn't hold up. So, I mean, that really put my mind at ease as to what the hell is it, you know what I mean? And is it really bad? So, I mean, it does sound not great, but I don't think it's anything to like lose sleep over, you know. So that's some positive news, you know. So I definitely didn't want anything to be wrong with it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be ripping it and like fucking snap a timing chain, because I've done that before. I came back from Nashville one time, and the irony was, I was coming out of Nashville and I fucking hit a raccoon. Like, it just came out in the middle of the road and was just chilling there like a deer in headlights. And it took out the driver's side of my bumper. Like, I lost my fucking washer bottle, and had to get a new bumper. It even destroyed, it put a huge fucking dent in the bumper crash bar, you know, like the support bar or whatever. And I still need to get that, a new fucking crash bar, because that's like ridiculous. And if it's not those two things, I would honestly suspect my exhaust joints, because like I said, this car is it's lowered 3 inches in the front and 2.25 in the back, and like speed bumps and dips in the road and stuff like that, I'm sure that would wear out the exhaust joints, you know. I mean, I'm not saying like I have an exhaust leak or anything like that, but I mean, it could have pinched the piping or something like that. I mean, I haven't really got underneath the car and looked at it in depth, but if you think about it, I have my O2 sensors are throwing an engine code, and I know nothing's wrong with the car's fuel economy and the performance of it. I mean, the car feels really good. I mean, I don't know if it feels the best it could, but it definitely doesn't feel bad. And like they say, if you have air fuel problems, you know, from your O2 sensors, you're going to lose acceleration, you're going to lose fuel economy and performance and all that stuff. And I mean, honestly, the only thing that's truly wrong with my car right now that I can super complain about is the idle air control valve is like super low. I mean, the car feels great. I mean, it doesn't sound bad. And from that first video clip I posted where the noise occurs, I tried filming other videos. I haven't posted them up yet or anything, because they you can't hear the noise enough in it to show it to people. Like, I hear it in the car a little bit, but that first clip, that initial clip, like when I'm like, oh, that wasn't good, I'm driving at night or doing a pull or whatever, and you could actually hear it audibly in the clip, but like now when I make a clip of it, you really can't hear it in the audio. Like, and I had the camera in the exact same place, which is just kind of, you know, I mean, maybe it's something to do with the fucking wheel bearing or something. Maybe something's just like a little bit out of whack. Because after I got my my wheels and threw the 25mm spacers on it to make it sit out a little bit more and be a little more flush with the fender, I haven't had it realigned yet, because I didn't think I really needed it, honestly. So I mean, maybe it's a control arm or something's like just like a little bit weak or something. I'm not sure. I mean, the car drives good. It's not that it doesn't drive good. It seems like it drives good. Because I think, you know, like when we were diagnosed and trying to think of every fucking problem that it could be, someone, Elias said clutch. Maybe your clutch is going bad. And I've been through that before. And I don't think it's that. I would maybe suspect like input or output shaft, because it's definitely not the throwout bearing. But I feel like if it were the input or output shaft, it would be in every gear. Like, it would be a more constant thing. This is a much more intermittent, just in first to second and second to third. So, like, to me, it's a little bizarro. But I don't know. I've talked to some people, and they're like, you know, it doesn't sound like motor or transmission, so I mean, they said that they could completely diagnose it and pinpoint it if I took my car in for a day or two, let them, you know, work on it and you know, take some shit off, take the wheels off and look at the wheel bearings and stuff like that, or the axles and stuff like that. But honestly, I think if it's nothing too bad, you know, just like a wheel bearing or an axle, I mean, probably the best course of action would just be to drive it until something breaks. That's what Elias was telling me. He's like, yeah, I mean, if it's just that, just drive it until the shit breaks and then worry about it then, because clearly it's not anything to, like, you know, lose sleep over. Which is good to know, because, you know, if it was the timing chain, that's fairly expensive. I mean, it's not something that's super hard to do, but I mean, it is if you don't have a garage and an engine hoist and you want to take the motor out of your car and take the fucking, you know, disassemble your motor, basically, because that's what it takes to change out a fucking timing chain. Timing it is not hard at all. I mean, that's idiot proof. You got little arrows and, you know, link the gold dial up here, and or the gold chain link or whatever, and that stuff's much. It's not like B series where you have a timing belt. You know what I mean? Like, this is a timing chain. It's kind of hard to, if you know your shit about Hondas and K series, I mean, it's pretty hard to fuck up a timing chain alignment. But who knows, you know? Who the fuck knows? But yeah, I think the next things to tackle, I'll keep driving around, stuff like that. Next thing I'm working on is idle air control valve and cleaning out the throttle body. And I think that'll be something good to do, because my idle is just shit right now. I'm sitting at fucking 300 RPMs, which is not optimum, you know what I mean? Luckily, though, I've read a lot about the idle air control valve symptoms, and my car never stalls out. Like, it's sitting at 200, so, like, it almost makes me think it's something to do with the throttle cable, like the adjustment or something. Maybe the adjustment's gone off or something, because, I mean, I would say my idle air control valve gasket definitely needs to be replaced, but, like, the car, it's not so bad that the car is stalling out. Like, we're not going in 6th gear on the highway and, like, when we put in the clutch to shift a gear, like, the shit stalls out. It's not that bad. So, not too sure. Hey, how's it going?
We're gonna
get a 4-piece chicken strip meal with a lemonade, please.
Yep.
And then also a 4-piece chicken strip box, not the meal.
Just the box?
Yeah.
So a 4-strip meal with the lemonade, and then just a 4-strip box?
Yeah.
Alright, and do you want any sauces?
Some barbecue sauce, please.
Are you paying with cash or card?
It's gonna be cash.
Alright. The total's gonna be $7.93, but you're gonna pay, I think, window.
$7.93, is that right?
Yes, $7.93.
It's usually $12.76.
You got a 4-strip meal, medium fried, and a medium lemonade, right?
Yeah.
And then a 4-strip box?
Yeah.
Yeah, $7.93.
Alrighty. Booyah. Makes no fucking sense. Not too sure about that. Old Junior here's got the wrong fucking order, I'm telling you. Unless they're giving me the Shades Away discount, I'm all good for spending less money, but I don't know. I'm not trying to get the wrong fucking food. I swear, it's something like idle air control valve, like, you turn your AC on, it usually takes your idle back up, but it's to the point now where my idle is is not going back up anymore. So is that the shifter cable? I mean, the throttle cable, or what? Who the fuck knows? I'm not too sure. Hey, how's it going?
793. How are you doing today?
Doing good. It's usually 1276.
It's just a 4-strip, right? The meal and the lemonade?
And another 4-strip box.
Yeah. Oh, it's like another 4-strip.
Yeah, not the meal, but the box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told him.
They rung you up for just the box.
Yeah, I told him. I got him to read it back to me. He said a 4-piece chicken strip meal with a lemonade.
But
then...
they meant like the box with no strips in it. That's what they put down.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, it is 1276. I was like, hey, you need he normally knows what he's getting. That's
Right,
so
right.
You need another 4-strip in there. Okay.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, I'm just getting the other 4. There you go, dude.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Well, y'all saw it here first. Idiot boy. Just the box. Like, you fucking put a... Like, here, can I get an empty box? What the fuck? How is that even a thing? I want a 4-piece chicken strip meal with a lemonade, and then a 4-piece chicken strip, just the box. Just the box. Bro, we're living in the dark ages. It's gonna charge me for an empty box. An empty box. Oh my god, these are the same motherfuckers on Jesus and Miro tipping over the lemonade and fucking flooding the floor. There's that noise. Dude, it's gotta be like my torque damper or my fucking... I don't even know what the fuck it is, honestly. I really don't. I talked to Childstar last night. I was curious, like, he fucking works on Honda K-Series in and out all the time. He's got one of the most impressive builds out there. Not only a look, but 300 wheel horsepower in a fucking EK coupe. I mean, that's a legit motherfucker. But I played the clip for him. And he was like, it sounds like a bad wastegate. Which I was making the joke, it sounds like a shitty blow-off valve or something, like a whiny blow-off valve. And unfortunately, this is a NA car, so the fact that we don't have a wastegate or a blow-off valve makes it not good. I'm still blown away by that shit about the box. He wants a 4-strip chicken strip meal with a lemonade, and he wants just the box. Like, he wants a spare box. What the fuck? What am I gonna do with that box? It's got no food in it. Oh man, the way he looked at me too, like, oh my god, dude, that is hilarious. That is some funny shit. Oh man, that is wild style. Like, here, he just wants the box. Just give me the box. Dude, their fry game, I can already tell you, is on point. Oh my god. Oh. That is some fire fucking fries. Seriously. Yeah, I would say the way with some of these dips in the road, probably a wheel bearing or an axle. Might order those axles. I mean, I don't know that much about Yunaka, but they seem like they're I mean, I'm not saying like they're like drive shaft shop axles or anything, like 500 horsepower rating, but I'm not fucking turboed. I'm not gonna have no 500 horsepower in this car. I mean, not only for a couple of years, man, I'm not even gonna have fucking 300 horsepower in this car. Like, I'm gonna be right around, if I'm lucky, 225 wheels. Maybe 250 if I'm like super lucky and get, you know, my K24 block set up. I mean, that's way down the road. I mean, that's probably like a couple of years down the road, because if I'm doing K24 bottom, you're gonna get, let's see, let's say I build it up to 200 wheel horsepower. Like, that's, I mean, that's really where that's my goal at the point, like with just bolt-ons. I mean, you're not really going to get that much more out of a K-Series to the wheels, like, unless you're going Type R motor and transmission. But I mean, 200 is like where I'd like to get the car on a to the wheels type situation. So once you go K24 bottom, you're gonna pick up 50 horsepower and 50 feet-pounds of torque. And I mean, that's a monster gain. But when you do that, you're gonna need to upgrade your fucking your drivetrain. You're gonna need to get a new clutch and flywheel that can hold that shit, because you can't. Your stock Type S clutch, OEM clutch and flywheel, they can't hold that shit. They really can't. So what's the point of making a shitload of power gain if you can't put it down to the wheels and your fucking clutch is gonna slip? You know what I mean? So I'd say 200 is where, you know, that's gonna be my first goal marker to make. You know what I mean? Because I mean, it's a naturally aspirated car, fucking 4-cylinder that's not on turbo. It doesn't have LSD or any of that good stuff. And you know, with bolt-ons, once I get I've already got intake. Next step will be header, then catback, and then probably I've already got fucking reflash. So like with those 3 things and the reflash, I mean, you should, I think we'd make 200. And if I don't make 200 off that, or over 200, probably go with the Type R manifold. That's a bitch to put in too. Like, I didn't know you're gonna have to fucking cut the fucking side of it off with that water cooler pump assembly or whatever the hell is over there, that you gotta like take the manifold gasket and trace that shit and you know, machine it off basically. Like, might have to put in some serious time and efforts on that shit. So that's kind of a bummer. Y'all can hear the whip. Do y'all think it sounds, I mean, I think it sounds fairly strong for, it seems fairly strong. I mean, I just don't understand. I don't know what the hell it is. I mean, we have ideas, but we don't know for a definite thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of like, it's like down to like 5 things, you know what I mean? Or really 3 things, like either axle, wheel bearing, something on the suspension. Like, you gotta think when you're going from first to second, you're letting off, the car's stopping, there's inertia, and it's vibrating something. It's making some type of like harmonic noise at a certain point. And I don't think it's doing that at, you know, let's say it's doing it from first to second, second to third. Then you get to third to fourth, and I mean, I'm not racing, I'm not like gunning at every gear. I'm sure it would do it in every gear if you were fucking redlining every gear or whatever. But literally, you're letting off and you're going, let's say you're in a 45 mile an hour zone. You go from first to second, second to third, and by the time you get to there, you're already up to your speed, so you're not driving as aggressively, as much inertia through the gear, like, you know, swapping that inertia. Every time you shift, the car lets off and dips down. So like, I think that's the reason it's only doing it in those 2 gears. So like, once you get to third to fourth, if you were driving really like aggressively, let's say on the highway, yeah, maybe it might make that noise, but it's like, it sounds like it's something vibrating, like maybe it's a motor mount. Maybe it's something to do with a motor mount, the driver or passenger side motor mount, you know? Maybe it's something to do with that, because it's just really not making sense. It doesn't have that much suspicion that it's something with the engine or the transmission, when you can, I mean, we're driving right now, the car sounds fine. I mean, literally, it sounds fine. It sounds like it normally does. It's only when you're shifting gears and letting off, you know? So that's my spiel on what the fuck it could possibly be. But if it was a motor mount, like when you take like a dip in the driveway like that, I feel like it would make some noise too. So I don't think it's a motor mount. And if it was a wheel bearing just straight up gone out and it was a bad wheel bearing, when you cut the wheel the opposite side of whichever wheel bearing's gone bad, it would clear up, because it would take the stress off of it. But I mean, this is this is a straightaway problem. Like, you're not turning at all. Like, you're not hearing it constantly. So, like, who the fuck knows what it could be? You know what I mean? Cars are very, in theory, they're very simple. You understand how fuel gets to the motor, and you need electrical system and ignition on all cylinders, and this and that. Yeah, it's when you're reading a book, like, shit makes sense, but like when you're trying to diagnose a problem in a car, I mean, it's like trying to figure out a woman. You do not know what the fuck they want. So, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I'm gonna go eat my food. Later, YouTube.